Hi everyone, and welcome to Serenity with Shauna. Today, as you can see, because of the title of this video, I'm going to be going over some self-care tips for depression and anxiety, and ADHD as well, and some stuff can go along with borderline personality disorder. But in general, they are pretty applicable to everyday life. They're applicable to everybody, and anybody can use them. It's always good to have self-care, and it's always important to just generally take care of ourselves. So I'm going to start off with the most basic thing, which is journaling. I would say that journaling is one of the most important things that I have learned to do throughout my journey. And there's many ways to do this. So I have a few different examples here. So sometimes when people are having a hard time figuring out what to journal and how to journal and what to talk about, it's really easy to get self-guided or like guided journaling. So for instance, I have these two books. One of them is 52 Lists for Calm, and the other one is 52 Lists for Happiness. I'll link them down below. I think I got them off of Amazon or from Anthropology. So they just kind of go through, there's different lists. I'll pull a page up. List number 5 lists the best choices you have made in your life so far, and it gives you plenty of room to talk about it, about 2 pages worth, to talk about your list of things that the best choices in your life so far. And at the end of it, they have these different take action notes. And this one says, take 5 minutes each morning this week to reflect on your list before you start your day. You have so much to take joy in. Trust in your inner wisdom. So there's that, for example. So these are just good ways to journal down your thoughts when you aren't able to fully think of what to journal, or if you're stuck on journaling. They're a good alternative. I also have this 52 List postcards, and I love these. I think they're amazing. I give them to people that I love. They're just, see, it says you make me smile, and then it's 5 ways you make me smile. So I just like this because it helps me stay in touch with people, and it helps me tell them how I'm feeling and let them know what's going on with me. It's also a good way to show like your appreciation for people. So that's for journaling. I would say journaling is something that's really been a big part of my life. I try to journal as much as I can. I would like to journal more, and that's something that I need to get on myself for. But other than that, there are some other journals. I have this one, for example. And let's see, one of them, they have different sayings and stuff like that, and then just different things to journal on. It gives you different topics to journal on. How can you make a moment slow down? How can you make a habit of it? yeah, so there's a lot of these journals, and I'll go online and I'll research more so that I can link some more down below, just so that you are all equipped with your journals that either are guided journals or are just regular lined paper journals. You can use anything to journal. I sometimes even use my phone on the Notes app to journal. It just depends on where I am, how I'm feeling, and what I'm doing at the time. So for instance, if I'm at work and I'm feeling really overwhelmed and there's something that has bugged me or is bugging me, I will pull out my phone and I will jot down some of the ways that I'm feeling and how to deal with them, and then it kind of brings me down from like a 10 to a 5. So instead of being outraged or anything like that, being irritable and being just in general being sorry, I'm watching my dogs in the backyard and it's very distracting. ADHD, can you tell? So I will use my resources well enough to make sure that I'm coping in the proper ways. And these are just some of the ways, and it's not exhaustive. It's not for everybody, but it is something that works for me. And if it's something that works for one person, maybe it'll work for another. So that's why I'm sharing them. Next, I'm going to talk about mindfulness. So mindfulness is an interesting practice, and it's kind of hard to get on board with at first, but there are so many positives to using mindfulness, and it is one of the things that I have really something that I have really taken a part of, and something that I really enjoy now. So I have this book, the little book of mindfulness. This is what I use some of the time. Sometimes I have a few other books that I'll link below in the mindfulness section that are really good for giving you mindful meditations. But here, it gives you meditation and posture tips, being in the now, living in the moment, seeing everything afresh without judgment and worry lets us experience life rather than simply getting through it. And then it gives you just these different mindfulness practices, and it says how long it'll take, 5 minutes. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. It just depends on what you're doing and how long you'd like to do it for, but there are so many in here. And one thing that I really learned about mindfulness was it's really about connecting your mind and body and your environment all in one. So you're really going to want to recognize your breath, and when you're breathing, are you breathing from your stomach? Are you breathing from your chest? Where you're breathing from? What are your hands doing? What are your feet doing? You want to go through this checklist from head to toe. Where do you feel the tension? In your neck, in your shoulders. I know that's where I feel my tension most of the time. And there's a lot of ways to use mindfulness to reduce stress and anxiety, and to bring more peace into your life. And so I will link these books below because they can say a lot more about, the other one is a Sloth's Guide to Mindfulness. I'm obsessed with the sloths, just so everybody knows. But it's a good book to kind of give you the lowdown in really simple terms what mindfulness is. And it really, to me, it speaks to me. And this book is really good for giving you those meditations, or mindfulness activities, whatever you want to call them. So those are super, super important. And if you can't afford them, you can always message me, and if you want a page or a certain mindfulness meditation, I can take pictures of them and send them to you, or scan them and send them to you. So message me on my Instagram, which is probably the best. I'll put it right here. And yeah, so if you can't afford to buy these books, I can always help you, give you resources, and give you different online resources as well. A really great resource for meditations online is calm.com. Calm as in CALM.com, COM. So there's that resource online, and you can use it for free, and there's guided meditations, which are really, really, really good. You can use them before going to bed, which I like doing because it really helps me wind down. Or unwind, I guess, not wind down. So there's that. Another one that I have found that works for me in terms of self-care and coping skills, kind of, is walking. Now this is walking with a purpose, but also walking for your mind. It helps release these it helps release serotonin and the other happy chemicals into your brain when you're doing exercise. Now I don't mean go out and walk for hours and hours on end, but just simply a 15-minute walk, just getting out, breathing in the fresh air, and simply just taking time for yourself is unlike anything else. It mimics the effects of medications, so I suggest strongly that people go on walks. If you have a dog, that's great. I know for me, I find it stressful to have my dog with me, because if we pass other dogs and then they get all excited, that I find that stressful. So normally I take them off leash somewhere where I can relax while I'm walking, and I'm not hyper focused on my dog and making sure that my dog is not reacting or whatever. So for me, a more leisurely a more leisurely walk that isn't very stressful is the best for me. And I would suggest the same for people who get stressed out really easily or get overwhelmed easily. I would suggest just taking a leisurely walk, letting yourself be in the present and notice the things around you. Look at the trees, look at the wildlife, look at the houses. Just notice things around you and notice all of the good things in life that we might not always appreciate. So that's something that I've learned along the way, and that has really helped me. Another thing is pet therapy. If you don't have pets, then maybe you have a friend that has a pet or family member that has a pet. But just simply spending time with animals, and like whether it's a dog or a cat or a rabbit or a horse or a cow or whatever it may be, they have this way of making us feel not so alone. And I strongly suggest not that it has to be a specific type of therapy or really called therapy, but just being around them, hugging them, petting them, doing that kind of stuff is really therapeutic. And I strongly suggest that as a way to cope, or a way to a way to take care of yourself. They kind of, like I say, my dogs are the lights of my life, because they've been with me through everything, and they are the ones that are consistently here. And no matter who comes into our life, leaves our lives, they're always there, and they're my best little buddies, and I couldn't be more thankful for them. So I strongly suggest pet therapy. Whatever you determine that to be. So what else? I want you to sit there right now, close your eyes, breathe in your nose for 4, and breathe out for 4. And I just want you to take a minute to sit with that and realize how it makes you feel. Maybe take 2 or 3 different breaths and realize how it feels, and take in the things around you. What do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you smell? And I want you to just kind of take this moment for you. Not everybody gets time during the day to really just take a moment to just be. And I want you to have this moment. And yeah. So, something that I have found that has helped me, and not many people know it, as in not many people that are close to me know that I've found this to be helpful, but I have found connecting with my faith to be helpful in terms of my self-care and coping skills. So for me, I'm Catholic, and I find that it is helpful to look at the teachings from the Bible, or just reading about it or listening to it, whatever it may be. This could be a spiritual thing. You could be spiritually aware and looking at what is going on for you, so that you can connect to that higher power, whatever you might believe that it is, whether it's God, whether it's Buddha, whether it's Mother Earth, whatever it may be. It is important, in my opinion, to connect to that. It gives me a sense of belonging, I guess, that I was made for a reason. I have a purpose in life, and this purpose, although I might not know it right now fully, I will fully know it at some point in life. I will fully understand what I was put on this earth to do. And for me, that is really comforting. It's really comforting to know that, or to feel as though I was made for a reason, and God chose me as a person to be put on this earth, like saw that the earth needed me in some way, and in whatever way that might be. Could be making this video, for all I know. Whatever it might be, I think that is something that no other person, place, or thing could allow me to feel, in terms of comfort and not feeling alone in this really big world. So that is kind of the first few things that I wanted to touch on. Those are the main things outside of things that you can really control. So the other things I want to touch on are food and sleeping, and social media is another thing I want to touch on. But in terms of food, it is important to eat, period. Note to self. And it is something that fuels your mind, fuels your body. It fuels you to be able to take on whatever it is that you have to, for the day, for the week, whatever it might be. You need to fuel your body, period. And I know it's easier said than done for a lot of people, but I really can't stress the importance of food and the effects it has on your mind and your body. I'm not a dietitian, so I can't really give that kind of advice, but I know for a fact, from personal experience, that eating can really change what is going on in your mind. And as much as food can be scary because there are these labels of negative and positive and whatever, there is plenty of stigma around food, and whether it's healthy or unhealthy or fattening or whatever. It's a scary world to be involved with food, but all in all, it is important that we stay healthy for our minds, to be healthy as well. And that is all I'm going to touch on with that, because it's a very sensitive topic for me. We'll go more into that in another video. But for sleep, please, if you are not sleeping well, talk to your doctor. There could be several reasons for this, but eating and sleeping have such a big impact on your concentration, on your energy levels, on your mind, on your body, on everything. And eating and sleeping are so vital for your health. And so if you're struggling with sleep, which I had been for over a year, and I had told my doctor this, and I wasn't prescribed anything, or I was told to take melatonin, which is a good alternative for some people. Now, saying that, don't go out and buy melatonin unless your doctor tells you to. But yeah, so I would suggest talking to your family doctor if you have one, or going to a walk-in clinic, because sleep is so important, and we all deserve to have those wonderful sleeps where you wake up feeling refreshed and new and ready to take on the day. So please, if you aren't sleeping, get help in whatever way that you can. Try meditating before bed. I find that helps. But asking your doctor for alternatives to those things are really is a really easy option. Maybe not easy, but is an option. We're able to we're lucky enough to have our healthcare system, and I suggest to use it because I've put in my work, and I've advocated for myself more times than I can count, and it's important to advocate for what you need. And if something that you need is help with sleep, then utilize your resources. That's all I can say. And finally, social media. Now, the reason why I want to talk about social media and self-care is sometimes social media is bad for our mental health. Just simply put, we compare ourselves to others. More times than I can count, I have compared myself to people that I've seen on the internet, and where they are in life and where I am in life, and how much of different paths we're on, and how I wish I had this, that, and the other things, like X, Y, and Z. So sometimes social media is detrimental to our mental health, and sometimes it helps. For instance, my Serenity with Shauna page, I made to simply surround myself with positive messages, with positive affirmations, with positive reinforcement, and being able to have this outlet where I'm able to be myself, where I'm able to express how I'm feeling and share with others what's going on in my world, and maybe help somebody. Yeah, so I think one other thing I've learned about social media is that it's okay to unfollow people in real life as well as on social media. I've unfollowed quite a number of people who I just would compare myself to, or accounts that were pushing dieting and food restriction and stuff like that. So I really make mindful decisions when it comes to who I allow on my social media, and I think that's really important in terms of self-care, because you deserve to have all the good things in life, and no matter who you are, what you look like, what size you are, what color your skin is, no matter what, you deserve all of the good things. And sometimes social media can impact those things and can make us feel like we are not worthy. And that's not true, because every single person is worthy. That is pretty much all I have to say for today in terms of self-care and coping skills. Now, it relates to anxiety and depression and ADHD and BPD because they're all kind of intertwined. And these are just things that have helped me, and if they help you, then great. If you need other resources, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, because I have plenty of resources and I will link as many of them as I can below. But thank you for watching, and I thank you for taking your time to take that breath, and I suggest you do it again after you stop watching this video. But remember that you are loved, you are worthy, and you are strong. Thank you.